Get call the meeting to order. This is the Painesville Township Board of Zoning Appeals. And like we do with all our meetings, we'd like people to stand and we do a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. Rachel, at this time, if you do the roll call of the members, please.
Okay, Dave Lindros.
Here.
Ken.
Yeah, here.
Randy.
Here.
Dave Enzera.
Here.
And Chairman.
Yes, here. I let the record show that all 5 members are in attendance. All right, I'm going to right now I'm going to introduce our legal counsel, sitting to my far left, and he is going to tell you why you need to be sworn if you're going to testify, and then go ahead and swear you in. So, Chairman?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everybody. So here with the Zoning Board of Appeals, it's a quasi-judicial proceeding this evening. So any testimony that you give will be used to make a decision, and that decision can be appealed by either somebody objecting to the variance or somebody wanting to get the variance approved. It can be appealed to the Court of Common Pleas. For that reason, we need to have a nice, clean, and complete record. If there is an appeal, that record will be all that is used in that appeal. So for that reason, we need a clean record, and to have a clean record, we need to make sure that all of the witnesses are sworn in. And the way that we prefer to do it is to swear everybody in at the same time. So I'm going to ask anybody who's going to testify this evening on any of the, I believe it's 4 cases that we have this evening, anybody who's going to be testifying for or against any of the variances being requested this evening, I'm going to ask you to stand and raise your right hand. Okay, and I'm just going to ask you one very simple question, which you will give me an answer to, and then we'll proceed on with all of the cases. Do you swear that everything that you testify to in these hearings will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. You may be seated.
Okay, thank
It's
you.
all yours, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. All right, Rachel, if you would go ahead and read case 2022-0021-BZA.
Okay, applicants Angela M. and Mark E. Painter submitted a variance application for property located at 54 Bristol Ave. The request is to allow construction of a 30-foot by 40-foot attached garage addition proposed to maintain a setback from the road right-of-way of 33 feet in violation of section 14.03A1, which requires that no structure shall be located any closer than 50 feet to the road right-of-way.
Okay, I find no error in our zoning inspector requiring a variance for this. Is there someone here to speak in favor of the request? If you'll stand, identify yourself, and go ahead, sir.
My name is Matt Schaefer. I have the property contiguous to the subject property on the west side, and I speak in support.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Anyone else to speak in favor?
That
That's me? Oh,
I was going to say, are you Mr. Painter?
yes.
Okay, I was hoping you were.
I didn't know you guys already had all the information she gave you. So the only reason why we want to turn the garage sideways is because if we put it even with the house, because of the new, rules you guys have with driveways, it has to be concrete or asphalt, and we don't have that in the budget.
Okay. And the package you submitted, it's fairly complete with pictures and drawings and everything, so.
Yeah, I just did a little pencil drawing. I tried to measure it from the road. I didn't know 20 feet from the road was belonged to you guys.
Yeah, the right-of-way, I think it was at 30 feet from the center,
30 feet from the center.
coming towards your property.
Right, so it's like 20 feet into my yard. I just measured from the edge of the road,
Yeah.
and it was 53 feet. Our
Okay.
house sets back 72, so we just need the room to pull the cars, swing them in.
Mhm. Have you had that lot for a while, or did you just acquire that?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Okay. All right. Anyone else to speak in favor? Is there anyone to speak against the request? Are there any questions from the board of the applicant?
So I see your sketch here, the driveway coming from the road. So you're gonna widen that to go up to that driveway?
It
or-
already goes like this up to like there.
Uh-huh.
So it'll just be a little bit, like, and it's gravel, so I just add a little bit of gravel to it to swing into the garage.
Gotcha. Okay.
You building this yourself?
Yes.
I don't know if you've seen the other pictures of the before and after he's done all that before.
House is very cute.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
And
Nice though.
when we purchased that lot, it was nothing but woods. And he cleared all that as well.
Yeah, woods and cats.
Won't ask what happened to the cats.
You know what, when I
She
started.
took quite a few actually, but they disappeared because that was their home. I think they're living in the neighbor across the street to us now.
Okay. All right, any other comments? Someone like to make a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the variance requested on 2022-0021 BZA.
I'll second.
All right, Rachel, motion's been made and seconded.
Okay, Dave and Zara,
Yes.
Randy,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Dave Lindros,
Yes.
and Chairman.
Yes. Mr. Painter, when would you like to get started on this project?
I probably won't be able to do it till the spring.
Okay.
I'd like to do it now, but the permit process is kind of slow. Like when I did my reverse gable, it was 3 weeks to get the permit, a week or so from the inspector. So I'd really kind of start it this year if I can't get the ball rolling with them.
The reason I ask is, this won't become official until we meet again and approve the minutes from this meeting.
Okay.
And it's looking like our meeting may be delayed a little bit next month. It could be, it may not be. But we have what we can do is we can journalize this decision to make it effective immediately. So,
Okay.
when you go to get your permit, you can say you've already got it approved, the variance is already approved.
Okay,
So if you'd like us to do that, we can do that.
yes, that'd be great.
All right, would someone like to make a motion to journalize?
I'll make the motion that we journalize case number 2022-0021-BZA tonight.
Now second.
Okay, Ken,
Yes.
Dave and Zara,
Yes.
Dave Lindros,
Yes.
Randy,
Yes.
and Chairman.
Yes, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank
You bet.
very
You're
much.
welcome to stay, or you can leave, whatever you.
We'll celebrate. Oh, you are? Thanks for coming, man. Appreciate it.
All right, the next case, before we read that, Madam Zoning Inspector, you want to give us an update?
Yes, the applicant has asked that we continue their case to September. They weren't able to attend tonight's meeting.
Okay. So with that in mind, would someone like to make a motion? Well, do we need to read it,
That would be a question for Jeremy.
Jeremy? Does it need to be read in the record to vote to continue it?
Did they, so they're not here?
No. They asked to have it continued. They called and
Do
asked.
they have any deadlines or anything that need to be filed? I don't think they
No.
do. No, I think we just put it on the agenda for next
Okay.
meeting.
So we don't need to vote on it or anything, we'll just
Nope.
grant
Okay.
the request to continue?
Will we need to resend out the published notices?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So just,
But
With
if
the- with the
they
new-
read it,
the new date, yeah.
if they read it and continue it, we won't have to send out public notices?
Good question.
That's a good question. Yeah, I guess if you read it and continue it, we would not have to resend the public notices.
It would save us a little bit of money in postage, I guess.
Okay.
Okay, well, let's go ahead. If you want to, go ahead, Rachel, and read case 2022-022 BZA.
okay, applicant Kurtz Bros. Inc. submitted a conditional use application for a property located at 775 Hardy Road. The proposed project consists of the excavation of 150 to 200,000 yards of clay from a 7-acre site The total depth of excavation will be 35 feet, and the project is scheduled to run until the year 2032. The proposed elevation of reclamation of the site will be near, if not the same, as the site's current elevation.
Okay. Again, I find no error in our zoning inspector requiring a conditional use permit here. So if someone, knowing that they ask for continuation, would someone like just to make the motion to continue this till our next meeting?
I'll make the motion to continue case 2022-0022 BZA till the next time we meet.
Okay.
I'll second.
Is that Dave and Zara?
Yes.
Okay, Randy,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Dave Lindros,
Yes.
Dave and Zara,
Yes.
and Chairman.
Yes.
So is that gonna change something about if we reschedule the meeting?
Well, it'll just go on the agenda for the next meeting. We just got to figure out after this.
Okay.
Would that go under old business then? Just
Mhm.
like the
Yes.
0004?
Well, no, it would still go under public hearings because it's still an open public hearing.
Okay.
Wait, or it goes under old business. That's where we've been keeping the other one that's been continued until next month.
Yeah.
So. Okay, yeah, that's fine.
When you're ready, Rachel, if you could read case 2022-023-BZA, please.
Okay, applicant Jennifer M. Johnston submitted a variance application for property located at 126 Doan Avenue. The request is to allow installation of approximately 126 lineal feet, proposed to maintain a setback from the road right-of-way 18 inches in violation of section 6.14E, which requires that no portion of any fence shall be any closer to the road right-of-way line than 5 feet.
Okay, again, I find no error in our zoning inspector requiring a variance here. Is there someone that would like to speak in favor of the request? Just introduce yourself for us, if you could.
I'm Jennifer Johnston.
Okay. All right, kids, this is the big moment you've been waiting for, so pay attention. Just relax, yeah, just let us know what you want to do.
So I want to put a fence up, just to keep them in the yard safe. It's not inhibiting anyone's view from like coming out of their driveway.
You're inside the sidewalk, is that correct? North of the sidewalk that goes down Everett?
Yes.
And I'm looking at the sketch you made here. It's enclosed all the way around. Is there a gate in the front near the house then?
No.
No? Okay. All right, anything else you want to add? The main thing is for safety of your children, is that what you? Okay.
It's because we do have a lot of cars that, go pretty fast up and down the street. We've had the sheriff sit out there numerous times and pull people over for running the four-way stop sign right there in the
Mhm.
corner, so.
Okay. Anyone else to speak in favor? We'd ask the guys, but they didn't get sworn in, so. Anyone to speak again? Oh, were you?
I'd like to speak in favor.
Were you sworn?
I have room on that for once. Can I swear in?
Yeah, I can swear you in real quick. Right hand. Do you swear that everything you testify to tonight will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, all set.
My name's Chris Champion, I am Jennifer's fiance. I'm the father of these children. We have the corner lot. All our properties to the north of that lot, so if we put that fence 5 feet away from the sidewalk, that really cuts into that usable space in the yard. So pretty much want to go close to that sidewalk due to the tree in the back corner lot versus having to cut around it. It would just be a lot easier for us to make that yard usable versus cutting it down the middle on the inside of the sidewalk. So That's our main focus, was to have a bigger enclosed lot, keep them contained. We have a dog as well, so to have a dog running loose and the kids is not really comfortable for us. We can't relax, we don't have time for ourselves.
Okay. Do you maintain the, I still call it tree lawn
Yeah.
on Everett? And I would expect that where the fence is near the sidewalk, you would keep that weed whacked or whatever?
Yeah, I was actually, recently was able to get my hands on an edger and finally clean up the sidewalk edge real nice. And now that's been taken care of, I can keep on that.
And we did tear down a bunch of trees in the backyard too.
Okay.
One thing worth mentioning, Mr. Chairman, is in their case, their lot is approximately 60 feet wide, where current regulations require 75 feet. So they would be more restrictive than
Yeah, it's an odd lot.
lots within, that meet today's standards.
Okay. All right. Anyone else to speak in favor? Is there anyone to speak against the request? Any comments from the board?
Just a question. So I'm presuming that you positioned the fence as close as you can get to that tree in the back without, so that's how you've identified the 18 inches from the...
Yeah, so that's as far, without going on the inside of the tree, that's as far over with the 6-foot fence without impeding the tree.
Where are you gonna start the fence, in the back or the front of the house?
So the fence is going to start at the corner, the far corner of the garage, go around the back of the property, to the sidewalk, and up the sidewalk to the, we're going to stop it at the corner of the house and bring it into the corner of the house.
Front or the back corner?
The back corner.
The back corner, okay.
Any other questions or comments? Would someone like to make a motion, please?
I'll make the motion to approve case number 2022-0023 BZA.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded.
Okay, Dave Lindros,
Yes.
Randy,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Dave Anzera,
Yes.
and Chairman.
Yes. All right, I'm going to ask the same question. When, is this something you want to get started on right away, or?
Yes.
All right, so I would ask that someone wants to make a motion to journalize this decision.
I'll make a motion that we journalize case 2022-0023 BCA.
Second?
Okay, Ken,
Yes.
Dave Anzera,
Yes.
Randy,
Yes.
Dave Lindros,
Yes.
and Chairman.
Yes. Okay, you're all set.
Thank you.
Make them get you ice cream, guys.
Say bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, Rachel, if you would please read case 2022-0024-BZA.
Applicant Morris, 1545 Menor Avenue, LLC, submitted a variance application for property located at 1545 Menor Avenue. The request is to allow a 1,741 square foot commercial expansion with proposed rear yard setback of 7.5 feet at the nearest point in violation of section 22, table 22.04, which requires that no portion of the main building shall be closer than 25 feet to the rear lot line.
Okay, I find no error in our zoning inspector requiring a variance. So I'm sure that there's one fellow left in here who hasn't spoken yet, so he probably wants to speak in favor of this request. If you would just identify yourself.
Thanks for having me here. I'm Brian Morris. I own Morris Chiropractic, and I originally opened my business in Painesville Township August 1st of 2001, so we just celebrated our 21st year in practice in this area. My wife is a chiropractor also. We practice together. And we practiced in the building next to Master Pizza. I purchased that building and I rented it for 5 years, purchased it, owned it for 12 years. And then one day I saw the Huntington Bank go up for sale, and it was always my favorite building in the area, and I turned right around, and within 6 days, we bought it. And I went through the building and could see my practice in there and being able to help a lot more people than we could at our old location, which was very restrictive with parking and size of the building. And over the years, we've been there close to 4 years now. I've owned the building 4.5 years. We've continued to expand and help more people in our community. And since that time, because it was a bank, it had a 3-lane drive-through already existing, built, connecting to the building, which was built approximately 2002. And it's a 3-lane drive-through, and that's where the square footage comes from. So what I would like to do is have footers dug and have walls built up and use the existing roof structure that is currently there. So my proposal is not to expand the footprint that's already a built structure on the property connected to the building, but strictly enclose it and have it repurposed for office space to be able to help more people and be able to have our business expanded. And because of the existing setback, that's why I'm here tonight, because it's something that obviously needs approval for. But I wanted to assure everyone that I'm not looking to expand the footprint of what you see on the aerial picture at all. Strictly build walls to connect to it. I have my architect, Myers Architect in Willoughby, come out, review the entire thing, and he said that it is a structure that is capable of being built in this proposed way. And once he had that assurance for me that that could be done, that's when I went ahead and wanted to go ahead and speak with you.
Okay.
If you look at the site plans, I'm not looking to propose, I'm not looking to change anything on there. You see 2 drawings of a site plan. One is the existing drive-through canopy, and the other one with darker print around it is the proposed closed structure. And nothing is proposed to encroach any further on the property line whatsoever. I was working very diligently to get in touch with Crystal Property Group, who owns the road behind me, and I was finally able to get in touch with their representative. His name's Scott. I had a very good phone conversation with them, and he did give me his verbal consent that they are good with this change to the building.
That's just the road from Normandy back into Mark.
Yes, it is, yes.
And the exit from the car wash.
Exactly. But the people that own that road, their representative, Scott, did give me their verbal consent as a neighbor that they would not have any problem with me.
You're not going to change any parking or anything?
No.
Okay. Just taking a drive-through and turning it into office space?
Yes.
Okay.
And my thinking as well is it will dress up the look of the building, because people come in and they like the look of the inside of the building now and the outside of the building, but they all say, well, this used to be a bank because there's a drive-through there. So I plan on having my practice here the rest of my career. I have a son who's in chiropractic school right now, and we plan on having our business.
Your family's been in that for a long time, right?
No, just me.
Oh, okay, because there was another.
There was, but no relation.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Anything else? Anyone else to speak in favor? Anyone to speak against? Questions from the board?
Yes, I drove up again and looked at it.
You what?
I drove up to your.
Oh, okay.
And
Go
looked
ahead.
at it specifically for this. I've been there many times before. but-
Yeah.
One question, the parking lot that's in back of your building now, you're gonna keep that. Do you anticipate any problems, because you'll be pulling in, then you'll be backing out and going out the same way that you came into that parking?
There is, I don't foresee any problem with that as far as, there's 7 spaces back there, and I think there's enough room to turn around.
Yeah, it looked like good room there, but that's the only thing, because you won't have that exit through the drive-through anymore.
Right, yeah. We currently drive right around the edge of there, not through the drive-through, but
Which you probably wouldn't be able to do anymore once you put the walls up.
with, 7.5 feet there, we may need to get into changing the direction of the parking there.
Okay. Are you keeping the existing piers?
Yes, those are the columns, and there's I-beams up
Okay.
above there, and the existing columns would be incorporated inside the rooms.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments? Would someone like to make a motion, please?
I'll make a motion that we approve case number 2022-0024-BZA.
Second it.
Okay, Rachel, motion's been made and seconded, and you get a chance, you can call the roll.
Okay, Dave Lindros,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Randy,
Yes.
Dave Nzera,
Yes.
and Chairman.
Yes. I'm going to ask you the same question I've asked everybody else. Is this something that Joe Myers wants to get cracking on right away?
It is, yes. With the weather being nice out, it's a good time to start.
All right, so let's get a motion to journalize.
I'll make a motion to journalize 2022-0024 BZA.
A second?
Okay, Dave Lindros,
Yes.
Dave Nzera,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Randy,
Yes.
and Chairman.
Yes. Okay. Good luck.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I appreciate
Nice
it.
having you there. I go by there 3 or 4 times a day.
I used to go to the, when it was
The old
back-
location?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was small.
Yeah, but it still works.
It did.
This is a nice,
New
better,
location,
much better.
and we offer a lot more treatment options for people than we did before.
Okay.
Where's your son going to chiropractic school?
It's called Life University outside Atlanta, Georgia.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that.
Good. Good luck.
All right, good
Thank
luck.
you.
All right, with nothing else there, let's have a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll go ahead.
Okay, I'll move that we close the public hearing portion of our meeting.
Second.
Rachel, if you want to call the roll for that.
Okay, hold on just 1 second.
Okay.
Okay, Randy,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Dave Lindros,
Yes.
Dave Nzera,
Yes?
and Chairman.
Yes. Okay. So with that, we will open the regular meeting, and the first thing on that agenda is the minutes from the last meeting. If everyone's had a chance to look at them, if they find no objections, changes required. If no, we will let them be entered as submitted. Everyone in agreement with the minutes from last meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but so what ended up happening with that builder?
He pulled his request, correct?
Which,
Pulled it.
oh, yes, yes. So, well, the decision that has been made in terms of the variance is that can't be rescinded. However, ProBuilt has canceled their contract with that gentleman, so then they will not be building a home for him.
Okay.
Do they still have the lot with the open?
So ProBuilt doesn't own the lot. They were contracted to do the work. The lot is owned by a
Okay.
resident.
So- All right, so that variance went with the well, actually, ProBuilt was the applicant.
Right.
But they
Yeah,
were doing
so-
it for that customer.
It'll actually follow the land. So variances follow the land, not the applicant. Conditional use permits follow the applicant. So this decision, this variance, should anybody want to do the exact same thing sometime in the future, they would be able to, if they knew that a variance was there, but no one has a variance certificate, so.
Okay.
Because all interested parties walked away, so nobody's been issued a certificate, but if somebody wanted to go back in history and.
So he doesn't want to buy the property anymore?
I honestly don't know. I don't know if he's gonna buy it privately or not. I'm not sure the VA would give him a loan for vacant land, so.
Okay.
Felt bad for that guy for.
Randy, you weren't here last meeting.
I was not.
That's why we now vote to close the public hearing.
I was going to ask about that at the end of the meeting.
Because we were just getting ready to move on, and the guy, the applicant came in, he wasn't the applicant, he was the client. And he came in and said, I don't want to have anything to do with these guys. And this is after we approved everything.
Oh, wow.
It was very weird.
Yeah, it was very weird.
That's odd.
So should I start, for moving forward, should I start including voting to close the public hearing?
Yes,
Okay,
we're going to do that.
okay.
So I still, but I guess this is a legal question. So how can an applicant apply for a variance on a property they don't own? I guess, because now we created this thing where people that own that property who didn't even have anything to do with that case.
Yeah, they got a
Now there's
variance
this
on it.
variance sitting out there. That doesn't seem right.
So the variance does not follow the builder, it follows the land.
Follows the land in this case, yeah. Yeah, because it's, the conditional use follows the other.
Yeah, so all.
It almost seems like the landowner should be involved in, should be the one making the application.
I'm surprised, like, once the variance was for the builder, so once the builder's out, then you would think that variance would be null and void.
I mean, it's basically moot. And I know that often builders do the permitting for the property owners as the applicant. But yeah, I mean, that certainly was an odd situation. Generally, I would think, once they're applying for a variance, because I guess the other thing is the builder didn't have to let them out of the contract either. They could have held them to that contract.
But he said he didn't even sign anything.
I do think it's odd that they had the builder doing,
It's just a weird,
it's a very weird situation.
Yeah, so he used to work for ProBuild, and I spoke with George Davis, and he said that the what would you call him?
the possible homeowner.
Yeah, he had not been coming into their appointments to pick like furnishings and things like that, and they were trying to be understanding because he was saying that, his PTSD, whatever was going on with him, it was really difficult for them to work with from the beginning. And, they had already made it very clear to him that he could not afford more house. And so they felt that he was trying to get more house, he wanted ProBuild to be forced to give him more house for less money. And so ProBuild walked away.
And according to him, he said, I got all the money in the bank, this is ridiculous, I don't need this variance, I can build whatever, I can build a legal sized house on this property.
So I got
But I don't know.
Yeah, so it was, yeah, well, so
I'll be like,
anyway.
So I would
I'm
actually-
kind of with Ken. Now, a builder could come, ProBuild could go back to this guy that owns the land and say, hey, we're gonna, we wanna buy this piece of property, because we already know we can build a smaller house on it.
Yes.
Yeah,
So-
the other thing too is not to get too far down the weeds of contract law, but ProBuild was probably in a position where they could have held that gentleman, whose name I don't remember. They probably could have held him, even if he hadn't signed anything, probably could have held him to an implied contract.
really?
Based on a thing called promissory estoppel, which is means that they had taken enough actions and caused potential detrimental, which just means they probably spent some financial.
Yeah.
They did enough to the point where they could have held him to a contract even though he hadn't signed the contract.
That's crazy.
So yeah, that's definitely a very odd situation. It sounds like they were trying to help the guy out,
I
Yeah, but
guess,
that exception will live with the land for its entire existence. And so any variance or use variance that is approved will live with that land forever.
Well, I guess we got snookered. That's the way I.
Yeah, it was an interesting one.
And actually, all that had to happen is that that guy would have shown up 5 minutes earlier.
Right.
It just would have never gotten approved.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, let's hope that's never happened in all the years I've been involved with this. Let's hope it doesn't happen again.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and now we're going to be requiring the person that benefits from the variance be present at the meeting, was
Yeah.
one of the changes that you guys wanted to be made.
Yeah, I don't think if the guy that is, the builder is representing isn't even here, we don't even want to hear it.
can we approve a variance like that with a time frame that they have to construct the house within such a period of time?
We could put a that condition on
It might be something, if we have another case like that in the future, give them a year
I
to.
don't think legally we can place conditions on variances. All right, if Jeremy can follow up on that, but I don't think we legally have the authority to place any conditions on a variance, just a conditional use permit.
it. Yeah, I'll look into it.
Just be good to know.
It's an odd case.
Yeah, hopefully it never happens again. Yeah, 'cause when the guy was gonna speak, I was like, why do you want to speak when it already
I
got
thought he was
approved?
gonna
Right.
thank everybody.
Yeah, that's
And-
Brady,
I thought he was gonna like
So
try to
very
like.
grateful.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Hey,
I thought he was coming
everybody,
in
I
to like
wasn't here
guilt
for
the
this.
socialize and like.
Yeah, yeah.
I almost fell into my chair when I guys
That
started.
that was a good move to journalize, not to journalize that decision. there.
Well, we did, and then we rescinded journalization because we hadn't closed the public hearing yet. That was the thing. The public hearing had not been closed, so
Right.
we could rescind the journalization.
Okay,
So these guys had 30 days to figure something out.
right. Wow.
The next part about this one is somebody would basically have to take us to court to
Yeah.
get to build something different.
Okay, so getting back to where we were, the minutes okay with everybody? Enter them as submitted? Okay, minutes are as submitted. Old business, we've got the case with the horse coming up in September. We've just continued this one to September.
It's a lot of buildup.
It is. Dave Enzera, myself, and Dale Lewis will not be here September the 13th, which is the second Tuesday. So we have I talked to Harley already, the only date within a week of that, I think, is the 9th, which is a Friday night, and I think a Friday night's kind of a tough night to hold a meeting. I don't think that wants to work. I think we can make that meeting whenever we want. Now, Dave will be.
Not for me, anyway.
Dave will be, there'll be three of you here, maybe. Ken, Randy, and Dave will be here, but these are kind of tricky ones, these two. I think we may want more than just a quorum, just a minimum quorum here.
Yeah,
So there's the calendar for September.
Yeah, so this entire week, we have people here at this meeting hall all evening except for the night. Now, that doesn't mean we can't maybe hold it earlier, on like the 7th. We could even do 6 PM, 5:30 PM, on some of these days where someone's not going to be present until.
You think it'll be that, I'm a little concerned how long that meeting might be?
Yeah, yeah, and there's no telling. We have not received one complaint, not one call of concern at all. So if they do show up, I'd be surprised. Well, I wouldn't, but I would.
Well,
So
that one
anyway,
lady's gonna show up.
We have,
so we could do it alternatively on a different time, and then,
I mean, I'm good for the 7th if you guys are.
I will not be here on the 7th.
we've
I don't
got
have to, you know.
the following week.
Jeez, Randy.
We've got, and then this week, Tom will be.
I'm gone until the 22nd. Now, the 27th, you got wide open there. That's a Tuesday,
Mhm.
2 weeks later. Is that a problem for anybody?
good.
I could skip the county planning commission meeting, I could be here.
27?
Yeah.
That'd be all right on the 27th.
Well, even if you weren't, you could still have the alternate and all of us.
Yeah, Dale could come the 27th.
So we'd have 5.
Right,
Still.
either way.
I
I
just-
would like you to be here.
Yeah, I could prove that.
So, do the trustees have to approve a change in date?
No, but I believe we need to advertise it in the newspaper that the regularly scheduled meeting has been moved. Jeremy? Is that
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, so in addition to our legal notices for the cases, we have to send out a legal notice, basically saying that the regular meeting has been changed. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
How's that gonna work with Kurtz Brothers? Is just,
I'll just inform them.
I don't think it's gonna make one bit of difference when they're looking at 10 years. I was there today and, you know, they didn't have, I don't think they're in any big hurry right now,
Yeah.
from what I saw.
Yeah, and the surface mining is sort of a second thought for them, for that site, because they realized that there was this usable clay on site. But the main purpose of the site was for that dredging, refinement that they
So-
were doing of dredge materials, so.
There's a huge basin there now they're gonna fill up. And I talked to Jason out there today, he said they can't touch that stuff for a while, once it's pumped in there.
Yeah.
So when they're removing the clay and taking it down, and then they're gonna build it back up with dredged material, is that what they're gonna do?
I don't know. They didn't give that information to me.
That's- those-
but
those-
it's
those are the kind of
a
questions
good
I wanna find out
question
from them.
For them to figure out how they're filling it. Now, one thing that's important to note about that case is that I had a long talk with a gentleman from ODNR, and it's their authority to regulate, and actually, our conditional use permit requirements mirror their requirements. So basically, we took ODNR and stuck it in our zoning resolution, which our new administrator would actually like us to remove, but that said, I spoke with ODNR for quite a while about this, and he really doesn't have any concerns. As far as the fill material and things like that, that's all gonna be regulated by ODNR. So there's at least some assurances, just because it's, you know, just for me personally, it's out of my wheelhouse. I don't know much about it, so I learned a lot from that meeting, but.
is the
they love what
ODNR
we
a
have.
branch of the EPA?
No, so it's Ohio Department of Natural Resources, they're their own department, and then they've got branches off of them. One handles surface mining, one handles underground mining, then they also handle like hunting licenses and all of that too. So all of that's under their umbrella.
Okay, so they wouldn't, you don't necessarily need the EPA then, because they're kind of self-governing type?
I don't know if the EPA touches on this anywhere. They might if they have to test fill materials. Maybe the EPA is involved on some level there, but that's in conjunction with ODNR.
Okay.
If
Yeah.
EPA is involved.
Yeah, I believe they're tied together, so if ODNR needs Ohio EPA input, that's part of the process.
Okay.
My dealings with
Gotcha.
This whole thing with the dredging and pumping that up into that site, that was all started by the state of Ohio. The state of Ohio did some studies, because Lorraine, Conneaut, everyone used to have dumping grounds outside the mouths of the river. And what I'm being told by Kurtz Brothers and by Lake Metro Parks is that the silt coming out of the Grand River is the cleanest junk of any of them. It's the cleanest silt of any of them. But the state of Ohio, anything outside the lighthouse, you know, they're dredging out there now, that can still be dumped in the lake. So the Ohio says you can't dump any silt back in the lake. But now they're saying, yeah, there are places you can dump it. And one of them is down near Township Park Pier. So that's what they're doing right now. So Lake County is kind of in a hurry to get this thing up and going so they can start pumping that stuff where it needs to go instead of dumping it back in the lake down near their pier.
Yeah, and they've already gotten all of their permissions from us for the dredging and refinement process, because it isn't surface mining, they didn't need to get a conditional use for that.
Anything coming from the mouth of the river on up has to be taken ashore somewhere now, cannot go back in the lake.
So is all of that being brought to Hertz Brothers site?
It will be eventually, yeah, and it'll be pumped up in a slurry.
Mhm.
And they haven't figured out, because they have to go up quite a ways to where they're gonna be cleaning the clay out. And I'm assuming that's where they're gonna put some of this stuff, whether they're pulling it out of the pond that they're gonna fill up first, remove it, move it up there. But they're not sure if they're gonna need a secondary pumping station to boost it to get it up that high. So I was wondering how I've heard rumors what's gonna happen. I go, how are they gonna get all that stuff out of a barge way up there? This before, they just go out and they open the doors on the barge, and
Right.
it dumps, the fish go crazy, and
Is there an Army Corps requirement on this as well?
the Army Corps is the one that, yeah, the Army Corps is the one that's setting the standards.
Okay.
They're the ones that are saying, the Army Corps is saying, yeah, you can dump it in this part of the lake. They've got a map that says you
Okay.
can dump it in this part of the lake. So, so we should, is everyone on board for looking at the 27th then?
Yep.
Yep.
All right, let's make that happen. Well, if I go home and my wife says, you know, we're not gonna be here the 27th. I'll let you know tomorrow morning if that's the case, but I plan on being here the 27th. Unless I get swept away by a hurricane. We'll see. Okay, so we're gonna have case, this, whatever else is new, plus these two from old business. So it could be quite an evening. I don't know what else. Did they start to slow down this time of year, don't they, the requests, as we get into fall?
Fingers crossed. I was just, the trustee meeting this morning, a part of my report was how many cases we've had. Last year, we had none, and this year so far, we've had 24?
You said how many last year?
9.
Well, wait, COVID.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, and then even previous years, we're up.
Yeah.
We're up.
Yeah. Again, I thank everybody on the board. I think this is the best board I've ever been on, so I appreciate all you
Very
guys.
sweet of you.
Just
I'm
remember.
glad I'm still kicking in this seat.
Yeah,
You guys kind of jinxed it for me.
we did. All right, everybody.
Someone had to break the trend, the gratitude.
How you feeling?
Pretty healthy.
Are we adjourned?
Yeah, we are adjourned, yes.
Get my sauna in.